Hello there, tech developers. In today's demonstration video, I'm going to be showing you on how to create a project using while loops and for loops. So the number project that I'm going to create is the number game. So let's get right into this video. Creating a folder called number game. So here are all these folders that I have so far for my YouTube recordings. So then I'd click on files and then click on open folder and find your folder here and scroll down and find the folder that you just created. And here is the folder on the number game. Create an index.html where all these snippets for front end and the metadata. So this is the metadata of what the website should look like normally when you're using for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, cool. So I have created 3 files in one folder. After that, I had to link out the style sheet and the script. So then always use the link.css as an abbreviation. So then it shows the attribute towards style sheet, and the href tag displays the URL. So now I linked out the style sheet, and once I've linked out here for the CSS, I can now link out through the JavaScript where we'll be focusing mainly on. So let's do script.src and call this as script.js because I created the folder as script.js. So ensure to show this correct this name. So I feel like and in Visual Studio Code is an integrated development, so IDE, known as integrated development environment, meaning that it automatically displays the tag and makes the productivity and coding more easier when defining elements and as well as closing out the tags. Anyways, here are all both stylesheet and JS now linked. So let's get started with the main mini project. Okay, so the first things first, we have to define out using the let constant. So we use the let declaration and we call the variable as guess equals to 0, and let number or let random, it's called random, equals to 5. And then we'll use the const method, const, and in here we'll call this variable as random. Actually, yeah, random. This one has already been defined, so let's define something else. That const number, we'll give it as math.random, math.floor, and math.random. Then multiply this by 10 using the asterisk, and we'll increase this by 1. So let's add a comment saying defining the number creation using the properties. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So let's use the while loops to define the attempts and the targets. So we created both variables as guess and attempts, and as our constant variable, we call it as a number target, where we are targeting using the math flow random from 1 to 10, and adding by each each of it by 1 every time when it iterates. So now this time, using while loops, we want to create the condition in here. So let's call while attempts is less than 0. What we want to do is to define the elements. So alert, let's call this as alert, or guess, I think guess as the variable, and alert. And we use the both asterisk in here and write guess the number between 1 and 10. And here we use a variable inside of backtick. We use a expression. So we'll call this as attempts. Cool. There we go. Now in here we call as again another variable called guess, and number we want to pass to the attempts. Okay, always close with your semicolon when you define. There we go. Okay, cool. So afterwards, let's use a conditional statement to check whether if that number is exactly true or false. Meaning that once I got the prompt saying guess the number between 1 and through 10, next we will use an if condition to let the user know about the number attempts. So if, let's call this if attempts is less than, or actually less than, I believe guess, if attempts less than guess, then it will be, and in here we would call this as alert, and the message will be too, so if it's less than, it'll be too low, try again. Always close with the semicolon. So afterwards, we use an curly brackets to nest out the if statement. There we go. Now let's call as an else statement, and else to check to see if that's or else if, because it's not more than 1 but it's twice, so too low, try again. Else if we want to check if the attempts is greater than guess. So for example, if attempts less than, not guess, but number target, because the number target we want to target is the random number for a user. So we don't know what the number target is as the const, because we use some simple base calculations to declare the answer. And also we made a message saying guess the number between 1 and 10. So we multiply through 10 to, of course, prefer otherwise. So if it's too low, try again. Then we'll use an else if to check whether if attempts is okay. So if attempts is greater than number target, alert, too low, try again. Else if attempts less than number target, we would wanted to return as an alert as too high. Too high, try again. Okay, cool. So let's use a semicolon to close this. And again, we'll use another else if to check to see if the number is correct. Else if we'll check attempts. Okay, no, so in the parentheses, we'll call this as attempt is equals to 0. And we'll say as an alert, well done, you have completed your number. There we go. So I also declare as an else if statement to check whether if attempts is equal to 0 once the user got their attempts correct. So then we use the semicolon to close the tags. Afterwards, to end it all, we use attempts itself will decrement by the variable itself, decrement it, and so that if the user knows that they have completed, if the user knows that if the attempts are finished, then it will basically redirect back to the main page. So in here we use the break section to check to see if that the number has been guessed correctly. So then again it'll start the game all over again. Okay, so let's run this code. Now it shows an alert message so that the user can be able to display the attempt. So it says guess the number between 1 and 10, attempt 5 left, put 12, attempt 12, too low, try again. Guess the number between 1 and 10, let's try 1, too low, try again, 4, too low, try again. If I say 123, it just says too low, try again. Yeah, I think there is an issue going on with the if conditional statements. Let's check. If attempts is less than number target, yeah, so the issue is that when you define the element for the if statement, you would be able to first of all. So the if statement comes first. So let's swap this and technically just replace this and this. And let's make a few tweaks and changes. Else if, let's try else if we wanted to check to see if the attempt, like I said, is less than number target, meaning this is alert. So the alert message will show is too low, try again. Yeah, and end with the semicolon. Okay, so yes, let's try this method, because normally you would define the first conditional statement to check if that number is correct, and else if is more additional statements to check whether if your guess is too high or again your number is too low when you entered in the input type. So then let's try this again. So let's dispose this and click on go live, and then now we could enter the number. So let's say 1 and 10, we call it 5. Too high, try again. 2, 4, too low, try again. Too low, try again. 54, too low, try again. Okay, so I think probably everything else is correct. It's just that we want to include additional if statements to, of course, check if let's call it attempt. If attempts is not equal to 0, we'll then say alert. See if the user didn't enter the number and the number displays that particular message. So alert will say the number you have entered is number you should have entered is tick and just write the number you have attempt. So attempt and entered should be I think number target, because we wanted to return out the number target. So yeah, so this is another extra if conditional statements to check. Let's say if the user hasn't entered the number and the number should of course display saying the number is X, Y, and Z. We try this again, so let's dispose it again, run the server. So then let's enter the number, the exact number. So it's 0.43, too low, 234, too low, 55, too low, 23, too low, 4, too low. Okay, or if guessed, let's try guess. If guess is that less than or equal to 0, there we go. Now the message displays the number you have attempted and enter should be 9. There we go. So then, of course, I include the guess statement, so to check whether if that attempt is true or false. So the number you have attempted and enter should be that number target you should have entered. So if you have entered any number or particularly type of what number it is, then yeah. So let's change the attempts. Let's call this as 10 attempts, so that of course the user will be able to retry as many times as possible if they can't find the exact number what they're looking for. So yeah, let's try this again. Let's dispose it, go live. Okay, so this is 1 to 10. 10, let 10's remaining. So 23, too high. 13, too high. 3, too high. 1, too high. 100, too high. Too high. 344, 43, 435, too low. 32, 543. Okay, yeah. The number you have attempted and enter should be 4. Yeah. I am going to conclude of this video today. This was me demonstrating on while loops and how to create the project using JavaScript. I'm going to create another project, this time on for loops, by using HTML this time to structure out the page so that the user can enter the number itself without using the console log. If you're new, please like, comment, share this video, turn your notification bell so you don't miss a video. I'll continue on with this video today. This is your boy Softsen. I'm out. Peace.